Today, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't start Jiu-Jitsu as a college student. So I want to begin today's video with a little story. It was the beginning of 2023, and I decided that I needed to make a change in my life for the better. As a fan of Joe Rogan, I've heard him mention many crazy things over the years, but one thing he's repeated over and over again is his love of Jiu-Jitsu. Well, for better or for worse, I decided to listen to him and start training Jiu-Jitsu. There was a guy in my hometown that taught summer classes, so I attended a few of those just to kind of get a feel for what it was like, and I really enjoyed it. So when I went off to college at the end of summer, I decided that I'd stick with it. The problem was I needed to find a new gym, find a new training program, and overall just find a new way to train. I remember I found this gym, and I walk in and it's my first day, and everyone has tattoos, everyone's like super ripped, very intimidating. I remember there was this one bald guy who was really skinny and lean, but I saw him like absolutely mess up like a massive dude who was like 250 pounds with a beard. And I just like remember thinking to myself, what did I get myself into? Safe to say, I don't remember everything about that very first class, but I remember I got my butt kicked. I remember like limping out of the class because I was so sore and I just got pummeled in so many ways. But surprisingly, even though I did get my butt kicked, I became addicted. And so I went back, and I went back again, and I went back again. My journey with Jiu-Jitsu throughout the years has been kind of love-hate. It's been kind of on and off, so I'm not telling you this story as someone who's an expert practitioner or someone who knows everything about the sport. But I am offering the perspective of someone who's experimented with it, who's tried it as a beginner, and someone who's a current college student and had to try to fit it into their busy schedule. So today I'm going to walk you through some of the reasons why Jiu-Jitsu might not be the sport for you, but if you think you can get over these hurdles, why it might be the perfect one. Now, the first reason that Jiu-Jitsu might not be for you is if you value your personal space. Have you ever been at a party and you're just like trying to enjoy yourself, vibe, maybe meet some girls or whatever, and there's like this one person who won't stop following you around and they like won't stop talking about themselves and they get like really close in your face and you're just like kind of weirded out by them. Yeah, if you're uncomfortable with that, then you're really not gonna like it when it's buff dudes that are trying to break your limbs. At the end of the day, Jiu-Jitsu is a very contact-intensive sport, and you're gonna get up close and personal with whoever you're rolling with. So if you're someone who gets uncomfortable when you have your personal space violated, this can be a significant barrier to enjoying the process of training Jiu-Jitsu. I remember my first instructor told me, there's gonna be sweat, there's gonna be grime, and there's gonna be close contact with bodies when you're rolling. And if you're not okay with that, step off the mat. What I will say is, even if you don't come from a contact sports background, you definitely get used to it the more you train, and within a couple months I was pretty comfortable with it. But if this is something that really freaks you out, like you just can't really stand getting really close to people and touching people a lot, then Jiu-Jitsu probably is not the right sport for you. Now, the second reason that Jiu-Jitsu might not be the right sport for you is if you're scared of injuries. So it's no wonder that if you're doing a sport where the goal is to kill the other person, either by choking them out or breaking a limb, that it's gonna come with some risks involved. The very nature of Jiu-Jitsu makes it a dangerous sport, which makes it more likely that you'll incur injuries while you're training. All sports fall along a spectrum, with some being not that dangerous and some being very dangerous. Martial arts is definitely on the higher danger end, so this is a risk that you're gonna have to be okay with if you want to train and compete in Jiu-Jitsu. Now, there's definitely ways that you can make Jiu-Jitsu safer. Having open communication with your rolling partner, always tapping early, and doing things like stretching up, warming up beforehand, that can reduce the likelihood of injury. One of the biggest risks is simply having a big ego. I remember my instructor told me that tap early and tap often, and that's how you can continue to train Jiu-Jitsu. At the end of the day, it never really feels good to get your arm super hyperextended by someone who's stronger than you, or to be put in a headlock. So this is something that you're gonna have to become comfortable with if you wanna start training and competing in Jiu-Jitsu. Now, the third reason why Jiu-Jitsu might not be the sport for you is that you're impatient. Listen, I'm far from an expert in Jiu-Jitsu. I'm just a white belt, but I know that it takes an insane amount of time to get good because I've seen the progress of other people in my gym as well. This is a game played over years. You're not just gonna fly up the ranks of belts in a couple months. You're gonna have to put in consistent and dedicated effort over a long time frame, which is why if you're impatient, if you want immediate results, you're probably not going to enjoy Jiu-Jitsu because it is a long game to play. Simply put, you have to be willing to be pummeled over and over and over again, getting your butt handed to you time and time again if you want to move up the ranks. But it is this inherent struggle that makes it super rewarding. We don't value things if they're just handed to us or if they're really easy to achieve. The fact that Jiu-Jitsu is so difficult and it's such a steep learning curve is why people become addicted to it, and why it feels very rewarding once you finally get that new belt, or you get a new stripe, or even you just level up your skills. The journey of Jiu-Jitsu is a long and enduring process, one that I'm only about half a year into, but I can tell you that this is a long game, and if you're expecting immediate results, Jiu-Jitsu might not be for you. Jiu-Jitsu is one of those sports where you learn life lessons that actually translate to outside the sport. Lessons like, don't trash talk people who are stronger than you. Stretch before physical activity or you will be stretched. And probably my favorite one is never judge a book by its cover. I may or may not have gotten absolutely destroyed by a girl my first time rolling, but I'm not going to talk about that. I guess if I had to sum this up, I would say Jiu-Jitsu isn't for everyone, but if you can get past those 3 barriers I mentioned, it's an amazing sport. You'll find out so much about yourself as you continue to improve, and it's truly a rewarding journey. So, if you're curious, if you're thinking about starting, just try it out. Go into a gym, usually even though they look intimidating, the people are really nice, and roll around for a bit. It might not be for you, but you might end up loving it. After all, life is about trying new things, stepping outside of our comfort zones, and challenging ourselves and pushing ourselves to be better. And there's no better sport for all those things than Jiu-Jitsu. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video about Jiu-Jitsu, you might enjoy some of my other videos about data science, college lifestyle in general, and other things I'm interested in. So please, check out my other videos.